Hi, welcome back to Sherry's Crochet Happiness, my temperature blanket. I haven't checked in with you guys for a while. We finally have hit 60s and 70s and 50s, 60s, and 70s. And my blanket is moving along quite well. I did do my elongated stitch here to signify where April starts. And I was just getting ready to add on my 60s color because the last 2 days have been in the 60s, high 60s, thank goodness. So I can do that for you here. So I've trimmed off my last color, which was a 70s color, and you'll remember I'm doing a half double crochet. So I've got my three loops on. I'm going to change my color by pulling my green through, and then I'm going to flip my whole project here. And I like to tuck my strings as I go so that I don't have to go back and tuck them all in. So I've chained up, and then I'm going to yarn over, and my tails are laying on top of my project. And I'm just going to crochet right over the top of them and get that started there. Alright, so there we go. I do like the way that the colors are coming out, although being that my son is Kennewick High he's not a graduate yet, he's just a freshman there now, and being my first son that has played a sport, I am feeling a little bit, I can't get this going here. Notice I have a new hook too. This is a new Yarnology luxury hook. I found these at Hobby Lobby. They were on clearance for $1.24, and I do like, it is a bigger handle, which I like, but I am finding that I'm having a little bit of a learning curve using this hook, but once I get going on it, I feel like I've got the feel of it, I guess. I don't know, it is a very nice handle though, and I am liking them. I hope that I can adjust my fingers to a bigger hook, because it will be nice, especially with using like an F-size hook where the handle is so tiny on those. So check out your Hobby Lobby and see if they have them. They had those hooks, and then they had this other style of hook. It is a Yarnology also. It's an ergonomic handled hook. And this one was 87 cents. So that's a pretty big savings. They're marked down from $3.49 on these and $4.99 on the other one. So go check out your Hobby Lobby. I also saw a lady with a shopping cart full of the yarn cakes that were on sale for like $1.74. I didn't get there in time to get any, and she offered to give me some out of her cart, but I didn't really feel the need to take anything from her, because I do have a pretty big yarn stash, and it would have just been adding to it, and I would have had to figure out a project to do. And I have some yarn cakes already that I haven't done anything with. So, you know, when you find yarn on sale though, that's usually when I stock up a little bit. You probably do too. So you can see I am struggling a little bit with this hook, but again, I feel if I can get the hang of it, I will be able to move right along. I have been using it for another project, and I was struggling a little bit with it as well, but you know, there is a difference in hook styles too. There's one that's a little bit more curvy, a little bit more pointy. I don't know, these look like they're pretty similar. So it's probably just going from a hook that's this size to a hook that's this size that's giving me the most trouble. I am going to continue to try to adapt to this new style. just because I feel like it, again, is going to be easier on my hand when I'm crocheting a lot. My fingers have not fatigued like they were when I'm holding the smaller one. I've crocheted a lot over the last few days. I've been finished up, which I don't have in my room here, but I did finish up my Tournament of Stitches shawl, and that actually was a lot of fun. It's at Marley's Minions Tournament of Stitches, and if you have an opportunity, even though this one is coming to a close, her instructions are available, and you can start at any time and catch up and get your project done. And you have the advantage of having to not have to wait each week for the new instructions to come out, because you will have them all ready for you to just continue right along. It was a really good project. Taught me a bunch of different stitches that I did not know how to do, including a mosaic stitch that when it was odd, because when I would look at my project I wasn't seeing the pattern, but as soon as I took a picture of it, I was like, oh, there it is. I don't understand how my eyes were not seeing it. I can see it now that it's completed and I know what I'm looking for, but it was super odd at first because I was able to completely see it in the picture, but just not as I was working it. And that was one of those things that I kept frogging because I was not understanding what I was doing, and I felt like I was doing, following along in her instructions. They're very well written and they're very easy to understand, but for some reason I just was not seeing it, and therefore was not thinking I was doing it correctly. So check out Marley's Minions, and I have no affiliation with her page or anything. I just thought that it was a super fun project, and I'm looking forward to doing some more projects with her. It looks like she has a couple of different things. She even has a knitting one, and some of the knitted scarves that were coming off of that page were just beautiful. So I started to talk about how my son is at Kennewick High, and that their colors are black and orange, just like my school that my husband and I went to in California. So I feel like I'm a little bit at home there with the black and orange. But one of the rival schools here in town is yellow and green, and they're called the Bombers. And I didn't, obviously when I picked out my colors, I didn't take into consideration that they would be mixing like this on here. And so anyways, I feel like a little bit, little cheating here when I'm putting the yellow and green together, because I'm doing a Bombers color. And maybe I'm the only one that does that with the colors. I see things in colors. We mark instruments at work, and some of our instruments are marked like yellow, red, and black, and every time I pull that set out I think of Disneyland, because those colors remind me of Mickey Mouse. Or there's like I don't know, there's different colors anyway, different color combinations, and when I see them I think of specific things. That's just the way my brain works, I guess. But doing these yellow and green just reminds me of the Richland Bombers, and my son does have a good friend that plays for them, so I guess I'll look at it like that I'm just putting Joey's colors in here and supporting him. So anyways, I've worked along this row here, catching up. I have one more row of green to do, and then I will be done for today. I will have caught up from yesterday and today. And I'm really liking the way this is turning out. The one thing that I can say is that this brand of yarn is a little bit softer than these other colors that I have. And so maybe if I do one of these in the future, I would make sure that I had yarn all from the same brand. I just went ahead and got out of my stash. And so I'm happy that with that part, that I'm using up some of my yarn stash. But if I was to do this again, I might decide to do all of the same type brand of yarn, just so that it all has the same texture and consistency. If you don't have a preference, then just use up your stash. But I'm just finding that this particular green, which is a red heart color, is just a little bit maybe coarser filling than the other yarn that I'm using. and I don't think, well, I do have one other red heart in there, so you know, maybe I'll still have a little bit of the different brands in here, and it'll work out just fine. So I hope that you all are keeping up on your temperature blanket and that you are getting some variety in color. Look, every time I stop and restart, I have to kind of get my brain wrapped back around this hook. Anyways, I hope you guys are having some color variations and that your temperatures are getting warmer out there, and that your snow is going away. Ours finally melted and baseball finally got started and has been underway for about a week or so, maybe 2 weeks now. And lots of practice over, it's currently our spring break, and so we've had lots of practice over spring break, and they have a scrimmage on Saturday, so that'll be a fun way to end the week. So keep crocheting, keep up on your blankets. I do have some other projects, some Easter projects that I've put on my Sherry's Crochet page, and so go and check that out. And then don't forget to subscribe to my channel and check back and see other projects. I'm going to start doing some other projects on here too, so check back periodically and see what's new on here. So thanks for checking in. Go Mariners, and we'll see you next time. Keep crocheting.